I want to share a story of hope and inspiration, a story about an employee here at Rejuv Medical. As a teenager, Nick came to Rejuv to work at the front desk.
I actually started working here at Rejuv when I was in high school, just working front desk, and I loved working out, loved health and fitness, and from there, it just kind of seemed the natural thing to do. I went out to school for a while, and when I came back, they welcomed me back here, and I got started training. What I get to do here is very cool, very unique, and the type of clientele that I get to work with. Lots of people with lots of different situations. So I might have someone that needs to lose a lot of weight, or I might have somebody that, for instance, I've got a client that, has MS, and we are just working at keeping her active. So I get a large variety of things I get to do here, but probably the most of it is just teaching people healthy lifestyle, how to eat right, exercise, things like that.
Unfortunately, one day while he was working out, he kneeled over in pain, requiring a visit to the emergency room. Hours later, a large tumor was removed and it was found to be cancerous.
It is desmoplastic round cell sarcoma. I gotta think about it every time I say it, but it's a type of blue round cell tumor that was in my abdomen, 5 pounds, about 15 centimeters diameter. I think the most common places people get those are, abdomen, lungs, those kind of common places. Not very many cases of it around. I think there has been, somewhat like 200 cases, so it's not a very common thing, but it is generally in, young males. Like 15 to 20-something years old is most common ages. When I found out I had cancer, I knew something was wrong for a while, and as a uninsured 20-year-old, I wasn't smart. I knew something was wrong. I was in a lot of pain, and I, looked pregnant. I had a 5-pound tumor in me, so it was very visible, but I didn't go to the doctor. I just kept putting it off for probably 6 weeks to 2 months, I would say. I knew something was wrong, but I was kind of self-diagnosing myself with this, that, and the other thing. And then, one night, as it was growing, it had ruptured. And so just excruciating pain to the point where I did end up going to the emergency room, and that's how I found out. So, moral of the story is don't put off going to the doctor.
Most people put up walls in their minds, blocking them from success, happiness, and positivity. A true example of a hero, Nick Stram refuses to do this. In his early 20s, Nick has been stricken with cancer that would stop most in their tracks, but he set out on a mission of hope. Most would say, how could this happen to a guy who lives for exercising and athletics? I was always waiting for the why me conversation and provide any kind of support I could. Rather, his approach was to look for the positivity that came from it. He has developed a firm belief that the trials are set before us to make us stronger. He also believes that with every trial there is a seed for equal opportunity. When obstacles are placed before us, we can either let them break us down or look for ways to turn that seed into personal growth.
Staying motivated really hasn't been a problem for me. It's just, I know that if I let myself fall off and let my body deteriorate, it's much harder on me mentally, So it keeps me going, keeps me happy, keeps me sane. Absolutely. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things that, after like a round of chemotherapy, I might be feeling down, and I got to force myself to come into the gym, but that's kind of my way of, telling myself, I can do this type of deal.
Imagine Nick's trouble for a moment. Working out at the highest level every day despite the toxicity and energy drain chemotherapy coursing through his body. Despite the what ifs, that tomorrow may not grant him. There is no quit in Nick. He embraces the pain, the challenges, and he believes. It drives him every day.
I've got a few different types of chemotherapy I've been doing for about 13 months now. I was diagnosed last December, mid-December, and I started last January, so I've been doing chemo for about 13 months now. And I've got two different types I do. The first one is just a single day outpatient type chemotherapy. So I go over to the cancer center, go in for one day, takes about 5 hours, and I'm out of there. Those drugs are pretty harsh. There's some, nasty side effects with those. The other one that I have is a week-long where I go inpatient at the hospital. So I check in, and it's actually like 5 26 or 27-hour cycles. So I check in Monday, and by the time I'm done, it is Sunday, and I'm leaving. So that one is actually not as bad with the side effects for myself, but no fun being in hospital for a week at a time. So I've been doing those. They go back and forth, one and then the other, alternating, and I've been doing those for, like I said, 13 months.
Nick had a very successful Fit to Fight support rally, and he's looking to now spread this mission and foundation to help others in need.
For other people to stay motivated, that they can do a lot more than what's expected of them. You don't have to be able to get out and go run a half marathon, but do what you can. Don't let yourself fall apart. That's critical. Absolutely. I think that being able to do stuff physically and staying active just carries over into your mentality so much. At least that was the case for me. That my motivation to get in here and work out and stuff was just to keep my sanity mentally. So after my surgery, at first I had lost a lot of weight. I wasn't able to pick up anything over about 20 pounds. And I looked in the mirror and I just kind of saw, a deteriorated body, especially once I started chemo. Hair falls out and you age so quickly, and you kind of watch your body fall apart in front of you. And that really kind of can reflect onto your mentality big time. And so, I thought from there it was going to be a really long year if I didn't do something, which was kind of my motivation to get started, keep going. So right at that point, I was very, very weak, but I'd still come into the gym and just get going doing something, right? Get going doing something, and I'd get better and better each time. And here I am 13 months later, and I'm the strongest I've been in my life.